Hi, welcome back to Jane's Stories of Life. Very often in the morning when I wake up, that's the time for prayer and reflection and just thinking about things. And the other day I was thinking about looking back. I don't know if you've ever had a time in your life when you look back at it and you really are kind of worried about yourself. You realize that you were kind of in trouble. Your emotions, your functioning was off because of your stress, because of being overwhelmed. And you think, wow, I really was in trouble at that point. And I thought about that. That was me in February, culminating in February of 2019, as we were preparing to move here to Florida. We had purchased this home. We had not seen it when we put in the offer and purchased it. I saw it 1 hour before I closed on it, because Morgan was in the hospital in Delaware and I was 1,000 miles away here in Florida, closing on a house that we purchased basically with the help of our realtor and technology. He had been in the hospital and in and out of rehab for a good 6 months after the purchase. We were delayed in moving because of his health issues. And as some of you may know, we were moving to Florida to be closer to our son. During that period of time, I was spending most of my days wherever he was. And by the time I went home in the evening, I just was stressed. I was tired. I just didn't feel like packing. And here we are in a house. I'm talking about 29 years of being in Dover, plus 21 years in New York State. We'd been married 50 years at that, and we were both pack rats. So we had, so much stuff. I also was, I guess you know the expression, pride goes before the fall. I was a lousy housekeeper, and we were pack rats. We had clutter everywhere. So when people would offer to come and help me to organize and to pack, I declined all offers because I was embarrassed. I didn't want anyone seeing all this stuff accumulating and so forth. So I was really in a very stressed and overwhelmed state of mind. I will say that. We had been cleared to move by the end of February, so that's what we were going to do, no matter what. You know, there was an expression with some commercial years ago, "You've come a long way, baby." Well, that's been 7 years. That was 7 years ago. February 26th is the day that we moved. And I have come a long way. I love the songs of the church, and there are two that resonate with me particularly. One of them is, "Look where he's brought me from." And the other one is, "If it had not been for the Lord on my side, I don't know where I would be." During that period of time after we moved, for that first 5 or 6 months, things were not too bad. Morgan's health was still in some transition. But then the last 6 months, or the last 5 months of his life, 88 out of 93 days, he was either in the hospital or in rehab. We had planned to go back to Dover to complete moving things. We didn't move everything when we came. And that never happened because of COVID and because of a lot of other things. As a result, many of our belongings ended up having to be thrown out because of mold and ruin and flooding in the house and all kinds of things. And so I had a lot of regret. And so one of the things I want to talk about today is really the looking back And yes, you have life, during life, sometimes there will be the woulda, shoulda, couldas, because we're hard on ourselves about how things might have been different if only we had blah, 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 blah. But I want to encourage you to give yourself grace. Don't be hard on, yes, when you look back, you will find those periods of times that were rough, that you wish you had done things differently. I encourage, I always say cherish your memories and pass them on. One of the things that I want to always encourage people, when I used to teach people about scrapbooking, I would say, don't just scrapbook the wonderful times, the celebrations, the trips, the vacations, all the happy times. Also scrapbook the times of trouble, the times of worry, the times of sadness. Because in passing those memories on, cherishing those memories, we let others know how we were able to get through the things we went through, how the Lord brought us through, or however you wish to testify to the fact that, yes, there are times in life that can be very hard, but we can't live our lives looking back and looking in the rear view mirror when the windshield is so much wider. So I've heard that expression several times in several different contexts. The rear view mirror is a lot smaller than the windshield, which reminds us not to spend too much time looking back, but to look forward. So I encourage you, cherish your memories. Yes, think about those times that maybe you think, wow, I was in trouble, but I made it. I made it through. And so when something else hits, you know that this too shall pass. So those were my thoughts the other day. I just wanted to share them today. Cherish your memories and pass them on.